Hello and welcome to the Canadian Massage Conference pre-conference broadcast series on Massage Therapy Radio and sponsored by Schedulicity. I'm Felicia Brown and I'll be your host for this interview and series. This is one of several broadcasts with the presenters and experts who are appearing at the Canadian Massage Conference, brought to you by the One Concept Group, November 4th through 6th, 2011, in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 2011 Canadian Massage Conference sponsors, the Vitality Depot, Lackner McClellan Insurance, Massage Therapy Canada Magazine, Biotone, Massage Warehouse, the Registered Massage Therapist Association of Ontario, and Hand and Stone for making this year's event possible. Our special guest today is Don Dillon. Don and I will be talking about his 3-hour class at the Canadian Massage Conference, Insurance Claims, Why Bother? But first, let me tell you a little about Don. Don Dillon is the author of Better Business Agreements and Charting Skills for Massage Therapists. Over 60 of his articles have been published in industry publications including Massage Therapy Canada, Massage Therapy Today, AMTA Journal, AMTWP Connections, Massage Magazine Online, and various massage school and professional association newsletters. Don graduated from Sutherland Chan School and Teaching Clinic in June of 1991 and was registered as an active member with the College of Massage Therapists of Ontario by July of 1991. He is also one of the founders of Massage Therapy Radio. Don, welcome to the Canadian Massage Conference pre-conference broadcast series. As always, I'm excited to talk with you today about your class, Insurance Claims, Why Bother?
Well, thank you, Felicia. It's great to talk to you personally, of course, and I'm excited to be here and part of the Canadian Massage Conference once again and the pre-conference broadcast series. It's a phenomenal event every year, and I always look forward to it.
Well, we are glad to have you. And before we get into your topic, I'd like to find out a little bit more about why you like being involved with the Canadian Massage Conference. Can you tell me, what is it that makes you want to be a part of this event this year?
Well, I've been involved. I've spoken every year at the event when it first started as a trade show, really, for the Massage Therapy Canada magazine, and was taken over by Scott Dartnell and a group that helped to continue the conference and grow it to its current capacity. And it really is, I go for the relationships. I go to meet the movers and shakers in the profession. I believe that what's happening in the industry, if you want to get in touch and hooked into what's happening in the industry, this show contains all the people who are talking about where the profession is and where it's going. So it's an exhausting couple days. I meet a lot of people. I have a lot of fun. I don't get enough sleep, but I have a great time when I go. And I'm particularly grateful that Know Your Body Best often handles my book sales. So I don't need to maintain a booth. I can wander about and meet all of these our visitors, both from Canada and now that we a larger contingency like yourself from the United States, and massage therapists that I've spoken to in the past or emailed or been on Facebook with or have attended my one of my seminars. So it really is I start getting excited about a month ahead of time, and I don't think my energy dwindles until about a month after.
Yeah, it's definitely a great event. I know all about the lack of sleep and trying to cram in everything that you can because there's so much going on. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to, any specific events or activities at the conference?
Well, I do pop into some of the workshops, the 1-hour workshops or the 3-hour workshops, and I've never been disappointed in the ones that I have attended, but most of my time really is spent catching up with my Canadian and American friends that I only see once a year. So most of my time will be spent just connecting with those people and catching up with them.
It's definitely a great opportunity to do that. I highly encourage people to make connections and, take the opportunity to talk to some of the instructors like yourself there that they might not be able to see one-on-one, and to make friends with other therapists that are going to be at the conference. So I know exactly what you mean. It's almost like you don't have enough time to catch up with everyone. You're trying to fit everyone into the schedule, but it's a great opportunity to do that.
Well, and of course the trade show. I mean, where can you get all of those massage therapy supplies in one place? I mean, it's a just to walk through that and see all the new stuff coming out and being able to pick up supplies and things, because I'm still very active in my practice. So I rely on that opportunity as well.
It definitely, the trade show does provide a great opportunity for savings and getting products that you haven't seen yet, new things on the market. So yeah, it's a good thing to browse, and certainly lots of good deals going on there from the vendors.
Yes.
So Don, you're teaching a class on on insurance claims and why people should be involved in this. Tell me a little bit about why RMTs should accept auto and workers' compensation insurance claims.
Yeah, this is a funny thing. I mean, in past decades, a lot of therapists have avoided dealing with insurance. They put out excuses such as it's too complicated, or I won't get paid on time, or the adjuster denied my plan, or some other excuse for not working within the plans. And certainly that has been the true experience of some therapists. Sometimes it's complicated and has been challenging to work with as our industry has grown and the insurance industry gets used to what a massage therapist is and what our scope of practice is. There have been certainly some speed bumps along the way, but my contention is that we can't afford to ignore these claims any longer. In our current North American economic climate, where people are being laid off, workplace benefits are being scaled back, people have less discretionary income. Perhaps in the past you could snub your nose at insurance claims and say, I don't need to take those, I'll just accept people who pay cash out of pocket. But in this new climate, it's really important that we can work within these parameters. And when I describe this in my workshop, I say there's really four main reasons we have to do this. The first one I've already mentioned: workplace benefits and discretionary income are volatile in this economy, and we need to be able to tap into other sources of funding to make practice viable. If we work within the system, it also helps us to maintain relationships with the insurance industry, government, and gatekeeper healthcare professions. All of these entities are making policies that affect our ability to access working with those patients. And if we don't maintain relationships with them, if we have a small number of massage therapy claims going through on these insurance plans, these entities will say, well, massage therapists aren't major players, we don't need to bother with them, we don't need to consider them when we're making policy. So really important that we get a critical mass of massage therapists who will work with claims. It also improves our credibility and access in the rehab sector. In Ontario, massage therapists who work in rehab, I believe, are in real danger of losing their market share with the way that healthcare is being restructured, and physiotherapists have received an increase in their scope of practice. They're bringing on assistants called physiotherapy assistants, and currently these assistants aren't providing massage, but it's just a matter of time before the physios figure out that instead of sending a person down the road to a massage therapist to get care without any profit coming back to the physio at all, they can have an assistant provide basic massage technique, pay them an hourly wage, and benefit financially from that. So the way that healthcare is being aligned, we're in real danger of being squeezed out. And of course, one of the main reasons is to develop evidence-based practice and more effective means of treating patients injured at work or in an auto collision, because if we're not experienced and we're not applying ourselves in this field, we won't develop better ways treating auto insurance or workers' compensation patients. And again, we'll dramatically lose market share, and the only opportunity we'll have really is working in the spa sector.
Well, I have to tell you, Don, that I was not expecting you to talk about some of these things when we planned this interview. I was really thinking, we're going to talk about, how you make money with insurance. And it didn't even occur to me, and maybe that's because I'm in a different market. I'm in the U.S. We don't have a lot of insurance based massage. It's just not accepted by most companies. But I think your point about building the relationships with what you call the gatekeepers of the healthcare industry, the insurance companies and the providers that are going to send those referrals is really vital. And I think that's a great point, that it's not just, in a way in a way, it's kind of marketing. You know, I mean, it's about doing things to bring clients into your practice, as opposed to the money side of it. It's about making those connections that sustain your business and keep clients walking in the door, I guess.
Yeah, if you want to work on the medical side or the rehab side of massage, denying claims, working with claims is no longer a luxury. It's really a necessity. We have to work within the system. And I know that just from my reading of some of the American publications, I know that there are quite a few massage therapists that work in the rehab sector as well, and I'm sure very much follow government policy and insurance funding and what's happening with gatekeeper health professions. So we have, even though we have some differences in our governance and regulation, there's a lot of similarities too.
Oh, well, definitely. And I think the evidence-based has been the big buzzword or buzz phrase that I've heard lately, that people are really wanting to show that massage therapy is valid, and how better to do that than by working with people who have these specific injuries and very strict need for documentation of how the massage is affecting them positively. I mean, it's a great opportunity to provide actual evidence, as you said, of what the power of massage is.
Yes,
so
it does a lot of good and should be incorporated in the rehab sector.
Definitely. Now, you were talking about the physiotherapist assistant, and how that, you know, they might be brought in by the physiotherapist on an hourly rate. That kind of scares me a little bit and makes me wonder, are RMTs that are doing this type of work, are they going to have to take a pay cut themselves in order to work with these claims?
Well, there's really two questions there. We'll talk about the current environment, and then we'll talk about the implications of physiotherapy assistance. So I'll take that in two parts. So the first part about whether massage therapists have to take a pay cut, not at all. Actually, the funding grids do initially appear to limit income. I've had a number of people in my seminars who say, well, they only pay $55 and something cents, and I'm providing an hour of care, and so I'm losing 25 or 30% of my income. Well, that's because you don't know how to work within the system. You can actually, the massage therapy model of the 1 hour service model is penalized in a way when working with insurance claims, but there are strategies that you can, by using modalities and billing based on a procedural model, the procedures you provide, rather than the time you spend, like dentists do. If a dentist treats one side of the tooth, then it's one cost. If they treat two sides of the tooth, then it's an additional cost because it's a procedural cost. And massage therapists, if they were to apply some of these strategies, they would find insurance billing quite viable. I have never taken a pay cut in any of the insurance claims that I've worked with. I always get, through my strategies, I always get paid what I would get paid if I was treating a patient who wasn't under one of these claims. And in some cases, actually, with some of the new models that we talk about, what they call the minor injury guideline, you're paid based on a block fee. And this is similar in some of the programs of care under the workers' compensation as well. Rather than paid by the time you spend, you're paid by a block. So if you're very effective in getting that patient better, you actually make more money. I treated a patient recently under a car insurance claim under the minor injury guideline, and because I got her better faster than the guideline allowed, I actually made more money per hour than I would under my normal claims because of the model that has been provided by the insurance industry.
Let me just clarify that point just to be sure I understand. So when you're talking about this particular kind of a classification, the minor injury guidelines, does that mean that they're going to allot a certain amount of money for that injury? Let's say I don't know. Why don't you give me an example? That might be better than me trying to come up with one. What's an example of a minor injury that would fall into this?
Sure.
And what would that look like?
Well, a little bit of historical context. Part of the complaint is that auto insurance claims, they can take time. You submit a treatment plan, you have to wait for the adjuster to get back to you. It could be 2 or 3 weeks before the adjuster says, okay, go ahead. Meanwhile, that patient is in pain and needs treatment, so they needed a way to speed up the process. So they had an initial program called the Pre-Approved Frameworks, which now has become the Minor Injury Guideline. And what that is if a person fits into a minor injury classification, which is typical whiplash, sprain, strain, any kind of soft tissue injuries, not a fracture, not a neurological problem, not a complex psychological response, so nothing too complicated, just your standard soft tissue sprain and strain injury, then it fits under the minor injury guideline, and you can provide care right away. All you have to do is fill out the quick paperwork, send it in. For massage therapists, we need it to be authorized by a gatekeeper profession, which includes a physiotherapist, chiropractor, physician, nurse practitioner. Dentists can sign off on them as well. And they are allowed, that moves the process forward quickly. No need to wait for weeks of time before the adjuster gets back to you. So you can begin these claims right away. And so the benefit is the patient gets care immediately, but they give you a block of funding. And in the minor injury guideline case, there's about $1,500. If you go 12 weeks, there's about $1,500 available, which is very lucrative and well within the income of most massage therapists. And then there's some additional funding for supplementary goods and services and other things, which I get into more discussion around in the seminar. But if you schedule it right and you treat the patient intensively initially, and you say you don't use up $1,500 worth of what you would normally use in a regular treating a patient, well, you still get to bill for the $1,500, even though you might have only provided $1,300 worth of treatment, because they're paying you based on the block, as opposed to paid on your time. So if you're a very effective practitioner, you can get people better quickly, and you clearly identify early on any obstacles and deal with those obstacles, barriers to recovery for that person. You can actually make more money working with these claims than you in the auto insurance sector, and as well workers' compensation under the programs of care. You can make more money than you would typically work in your hour-by-hour massage practice.
Well, I have a feeling some light bulbs just went off for people listening to this. I know, I certainly thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly thought, it's too bad we don't have that in the U.S.
Yeah.
Now,
your second question, well, it's sort of tied in with your question with the physiotherapy assistant.
Right.
If physiotherapy assistants were to come online and start providing massage, as I anticipate they will, then it's likely that those massage therapists in rehab will either have to be very well established that despite the financial benefit to the physio for referring in-house, they would still use a massage therapist. So certainly those relationships might still exist, and the physio might say, I don't care if I could bring in an assistant. They're not going to do as good a job as Sally RMT down the road. I'm still going to send them down the road. So that could happen, but there will be tremendous economic pressure and profit incentives for the physios to start using assistants in-house. So what I think probably will happen is a lot of RMTs will find they're not able to work in the rehab side. There won't be the openings, and they'll need to go back to school and do a bit of retraining to become a physiotherapy assistant, which wouldn't be bad in many ways, because you would be under mainstream medical funding. You would be directly working in an office with a gatekeeper getting referrals, so you wouldn't have to work a lot on building your own business that would be there. And you would also be able to probably assist with modalities and other things, so there'd be less wear and tear on your body. So for rehab therapists, it wouldn't be a bad thing, but there's going to be some initial shock, because a lot of those RMTs working in rehab, they're not going to be in demand anymore, because physios are going to take advantage of these assistants that are being offered through the realignment of healthcare in Ontario.
Right. So it's really just providing oneself as an RMT with more options, other avenues to maintain your practice and to make up for the potential drop-off of that rehab client or patient.
Yes, but again, in the meantime, those RMTs that are out there that are providing massage by the hour to rehab patients, and they're only making $55 and something cents an hour, and they're cutting themselves 25 or 30%. You don't have to do that. There's strategies around that, and in the workshop we talk about, in the full day workshop that I do, we talk quite a bit about those strategies.
Definitely a reason to come and take your class, right? I think that that's wonderful. I think learning some of those strategies is really vital. And, I would think that even for therapists that aren't doing the insurance billing, they might learn some ways to increase their income in their overall practice by using those strategies. I think it's going to be really helpful. But I have to go back to what you said before about some people are complaining that they don't think they'll get paid on time, or that their treatment plans are denied, or they just have other difficulties with filing insurance claims. Do you have any suggestions or advice for this?
I do. I say that the world, it's said that money makes the world go around, but I say that it's relationships that make the world go around. And I think there's a danger right now because insurance claims have gone online for workers' compensation and auto insurance, and so the RMT then gets disconnected from speaking personally with the insurance adjudicator. So there's a danger in this because we're not a gatekeeper profession. We don't wield as much leverage. There's a danger that we get lost in the shuffle. So I highly recommend being proactive, massage therapists being proactive and placing a call to the adjudicator within 5 days of submitting their treatment plan. Ask them if they have any questions about the plan. Explain to them the treatment, that you've begun treatment with the patient and the initial responses. And just ask them if they see any problems at all with the plan approval. If you take the time to touch base initially like that, you will find that despite some common concerns, insurance adjudicators are people too, and they have a huge pile of files on their desk they have to process. And so the healthcare provider that takes the time to place a call and speak to them and introduce themselves, they're going to stand out. And I can tell you personally that I have sped up payment on my claims a number of times by simply forming a relationship, by simply placing that call. And I'm approached by massage therapists saying, I've been waiting 3 months to get paid, and this isn't going. So my first question is, have you called them? Well, no. Can you do that? Yes. Call the adjudicator. They're a person too, and form a relationship, and that will move things along for you. And secondly, I will state that there is a learning curve. I mean, with any new process in life, there's a learning curve when you're trying to do something new, and insurance claims are no different. Thankfully, the workers' compensation websites and the health claims for auto insurance, that's the HCI website that moderates the insurance claims in Ontario. Both of them are very good for providing essential information on how to complete your claims. On the HCI website, there's videos and tutorials. So there's really no excuse for not learning how to use the system because the resources are there. And then my full-day seminar elaborates more fully, particular to massage therapists, how to work within the system too. So the information is available. And again, there are other forms of funding, discretionary income, workplace benefits, they're drying up. So if we're not learning how to work with these claims, we could find a real damper on our practices.
Right. Well, I think your suggestions about being proactive and just learning to go through the steps. I know that some people are overwhelmed by paperwork. It's not their strongest suit, perhaps. That I often hear in the U.S. here, people, they want to just do the work. They don't want to have to deal with the business side of things. And it just, I think that people are really missing a big piece. So getting set up with someone like you that can really help them understand how to master the process, how to turn the paperwork into a manageable challenge, perhaps, as opposed to feeling like one that's daunting, and really knowing how to do it properly so they're getting the right results. I think that sounds just like vital. I don't see why anybody wouldn't do it. So I know that there are going to be a lot of people that want to come and take your class on the insurance billing, and in particular, for the auto and workers' comp. I think that's really important. So, okay, everybody listening, you have my advice now. You need to take Don's class.
Felicia, I want to touch on something you said because I think it's a very important point as well. We are at a disadvantage because we don't have most massage therapists don't have an administrator. Most of us are working one-on-one with our clients or our patients every day. And part of the reason why auto insurance is so dreaded is because we don't have that administrative support that you'd find in a physician office or a large chiropractic or physiotherapy office. So this is not related to our conversation, but I want to put a little bit of a bug out there to all of you massage therapists who are finding that your hands are giving out, that are wearing down, that you don't have the physical capacity to provide care that you used to. You could create another source of income by becoming an expert on these claims processing procedures and other administrative functions. I've always thought that a massage therapist who was phasing out of their career and couldn't make a go of it at full-time capacity could earn a very lucrative income by simply going around to the different massage therapists in their area and providing essential administrative services, everything from helping with writing a newsletter and marketing-related stuff that I know you talk about, Felicia, all the way up to this claims processing stuff. If you could become an expert at this, and you could contract out to local 10, 15, 20 massage practitioners, they would pay you a handsome salary for dealing with the issue that they don't want to deal with, and you could have a source of income that wasn't hard on your hands. So just wanted to throw that in there to all of those therapists out there who are having trouble making ends meet and are looking for other ways to generate income.
I think that's a great point. And, I was just having a conversation with someone this morning about a handsome fee I paid someone to handle a big paperwork nightmare for me related to continuing education. And it was exactly that. It was something that I had put off doing. I didn't want to take it on. It was too complex in my mind that I just was going to put it off until a miracle happened. And finally, because it was something that was very important to me, I paid someone who is a massage therapist that has done exactly what you've talked about, has taken her knowledge and skills of the industry and parlayed that into other income opportunities. And so she often helps people with this particular type of thing. It wasn't insurance related, but it could have been. So I think that's a wonderful point. Absolutely. Yes. Well taken.
And maybe just a caveat to build on to your story is, of course, it's still worthwhile learning a bit about the system you're going to be working in, because if somebody else is handling the claims for you, one of the concerns I get from people who attend my seminar, they say, well, the chiropractor or the physiotherapist, they fill out all the claims forms for me, and I don't know what they're doing, and I'm concerned they might not be filling them out right, or I might be disadvantaged in some way. So I know you've done this in terms of the continuing education problem you talked about. You probably looked into it enough to understand it, but then you hired someone who was an expert who could finish it off for you because your time was better spent somewhere else. So I want to say to all the therapists out there, don't forget about looking into the claims process. Make sure you take a seminar or read a book or look on the websites or learn something about the system so that you're not a deer in the headlights. But then hire somebody whose expertise is in that field and will spend their time doing what you don't want to do because you're not an expert at that. You'd rather be treating your clients or patients, and that's fine. You don't have to be an expert at auto insurance claims, but make sure you hook up with someone that is. Right.
All good points. I definitely say you want to have some awareness. It's not having experienced some negative things where I just handed something over to a person I thought was capable of a job and then later found out that they weren't as skilled or as trustworthy as I thought, and have gotten burned. So I think you're absolutely right. You have to have some knowledge and awareness for your own sake. I mean, to really see, is this something I want to invest my time in or is it something that I should let someone else do? You never know. You might be really adept at handling this insurance paperwork and you've just made it out to be much worse than it really is. Yeah. But I think you've hit on some great points, and I think anybody that comes to this class or any class of yours is going to learn a lot from you about how to be successful in their massage practice or clinic. Now, Don, I know you're teaching another class at the conference. Can you tell me a little bit about what that's about? It's one of the 1-hour classes, I believe.
Yes, thank you, Felicia. This is a topic that I'm most passionate about. Some people have heard me speak before know that back in 2003, our regulatory body commissioned a survey to find out how massage therapists were doing. They talked to massage therapists, they talked to students, they talked to public with their general opinion or perception. They talked to gatekeeper health professions. It was a very comprehensive study. And for the first time, I asked myself, what outside of my direct control in my practice? So the things I can control are the product or service I provide, the promotion that I do, the way that I price it, and the way that I deliver it, the basic marketing mix model. I can control all those things, but there's external things that affect my practice, the economy and the strength of the economy and workplace benefits and people's discretionary income and government. We have a very unfavorable tax in Ontario and several other provinces where we have to charge 13% tax on top of our massage therapy services because we haven't successfully fully jumped into the same kind of positioning as other healthcare professions. We have to deal with healthcare policy and limited insurance funding, gatekeeper health professions, exploitive and profiteering companies that would come in and take advantage of the popularity of massage and really water it down and diffuse it in order to make a profit. We've got negative public and media perception and stories about insurance fraud. So there's all sorts of these things external to my practice that have a direct and formidable impact on the health and viability of my practice. So I have been studying these things since 2003, have written in both American and Canadian publications about my concerns. And relatively recently I thought, well, you know, it's like David Suzuki. You need to start giving them some good news or they're just going to shut you out because you keep giving them bad news. So David Suzuki wrote a book, Good News for a Change. And so I'm here to deliver some good news for a change, that there's some real opportunities for massage therapists, but they don't exist in the old model of being a sole practitioner, working from home, or opening up a small massage clinic and contracting other massage therapists. Those aren't going to work in the new economy that features massage franchises, large rehab clinics, gatekeeper professions that are getting an increase in their scope of practice and becoming more powerful and hiring assistants. The way that we used to run our massage businesses is not working, and it's not going to work anymore. So I have been looking at a number of opportunities for massage therapists to find out how can massage therapists still practice and work in the new economy. And that's what this, it's a lot to fit into a 1-hour lecture, but I'm going to be discussing that, and I'm very excited about it because part of my mandate is we need to talk about this as a profession. I can't do this myself. We need to collectively collaborate and work together in order for massage therapy to be viable in the future. Otherwise, it's going to go back to pre-economic boom times where it was in the back of people's houses and people did it as a part-time job in addition to their full-time job. And it's not going to be viable, and a lot of massage therapists will be skilled workers and they'll be working for base level pay because they'll have no leverage. So there's a real urgency about our profession getting our head around these dangers, but also looking at the opportunities. So that's what the 1-hour lecture is going to be about.
Well, I think that's a great place to get a conversation started, and I have no doubt you're going to have a lot of people wanting to talk to you after that class.
Yes.
I know something else that people are going to want to talk to you about at the Canadian Massage Conference, Don, is your new book that's launching at the conference. That's really exciting.
Yes, especially for me, because I had written a book for massage therapists back in 2005, 2006. It was called Better Business Agreements for Massage Therapists. And after that book was written, I got a lot of orders from Canada, from the United States, even a few from Australia. This was a hot topic because it dealt with the issues between massage therapists who are contractors typically, sometimes employees, but mostly contractors, and the clinic owners they work with, and the real disparity that exists and the real myths and misperceptions that exist that harm and destroy those relationships. So I wrote a book in relation to the things I was hearing from these clinic managers. It led to a lot of seminar invites across Canada to come and speak, and and a number of articles I've written. So in 2009, I decided, well, it's time to update the book based on the information that I've received, the questions I've received, and the new insights that I have, the feedback from readers of the book. So I started in 2009, but at that point, I couldn't get my head around what the book was going to look like. I knew it needed to be more expanded in terms of context as well as content, but I had trouble getting my head around it. So it's been on the shelf, off the shelf, but I'm pleased to say that the draft is in the editor's hands, and so we're getting closer to that point where it'll be laid out and then printed. But the new book is going to be quite different than the original book. It contains some of the original book, but there's a lot of new stuff in it. Of course, there's a huge section that talks about the relationships, the working relationships between massage therapists and the businesses that they contract into or that they're employed by, and how to overcome those common problems that exist in those business relationships. I also, of course, included a section that talked about the trends in the industry, which I was just describing, those external influences that can affect the success of our massage therapy practice. So those are the first two chapters. Then I realized I needed something to help these clinic owners who want their associates to get off to a running start. I needed to help them and give them some materials. So I dedicated a whole section, 12 different articles that I've previously released, to entry-level practitioners to help them with getting up and running on their business. As well, massage is a very time and labor-intensive process, as you know, and Felicia, I'm sure you've done this in your business. You have incorporated a number of spa modalities to lessen the wear and tear on your body. And I write about at least 12 different ways that massage therapists can generate income that are not related to the vigorous, laborious, hands-on technique that we have to apply. So wanted to make massage therapy practice more viable, so wrote a chapter on that. And then another chapter, which you graciously contributed to. Of course, we're coming to the age in North America where a lot of people are retiring. They're of retirement age, including massage therapists. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, massage therapists simply walk away from their practices. They put all that time and effort in, and they don't know how to sell a practice, so it ends up they just close down, and then those patients or clients are scooped up by the surrounding practitioners.
Right.
And the retiring practitioner has nothing to retire on. They have no nest egg. They have no money put aside, and it's a very tragic thing, I believe, in our profession to work so hard and then not have any reward at the end. So I included a chapter on buying and selling massage therapy business, and again, you've kindly featured your story in there, and we've got an article with Eric Brown and another massage therapist as well. So the book that started out very small, very concise, that talked about the working relationships with massage therapists, expanded to talk about industry trends, to elaborate it further on those business relationships, looked at 12 different ways you can generate income without the time and labor-intensive technique you're applying today, how to buy and sell a massage therapy business, and 12 articles geared toward entry-level practitioners. So it's going to be a big book.
I know. Well, it's all really relevant, vital information. I can't wait to see the hard copy in print myself. But it sounds like a great addition to the original text that you had put out there, and something that's going to be a really valuable asset to massage therapists of all levels and all stages in their practice.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it's going to complement the work that you do, and Megan Hollop and Cherie Sonnen-Moe and Eric Brown and other people who are consulting in the business. And as well, it really is a book that I think builds on the previous massage therapy books that are out there, more geared toward the general entry-level or foundational principles of massage therapy practice. This book, I think of it as the second book you want to read. It's the book that's going to, after you've done the foundational aspects, what's next. So I think it's going to be a helpful resource to a variety of both the entry-level practitioner, but also to that seasoned practitioner who's looking for ways to try and just create a more of a larger enterprise out of their business.
That sounds excellent. I know that with all the information that you've shared, Don, about the book and what's in there, the trends that you're going to be talking about in your 1-hour class, and definitely the insurance class, a lot of people are going to want to come and see you at the Canadian Massage Conference in November, but some people aren't going to be able to. So I want to make sure that they know how to find out about you, how to get on your mailing list or get your book, or to take a class with you somewhere else. Can you share with everybody your contact information or website?
Sure, thank you. Well, I mean, of course, there'll be links on the Canadian Massage Conference website, and so people will be able to directly find me through those resources. My curriculum is available both through Know Your Body Best in Toronto and also Massage Therapy Supply Outlet in Alberta for our Canadian orders, or you'll be able to order it directly online at my website, which I use as my political platform to put a lot of my posts and my perspectives out at MT Coach. That's MT as in massage therapist, Coach, COACH.com, and they'll be able to find links to being able to purchase my book there. And I'm on Facebook quite a bit as well, so if people just type in my name, they should be able to connect with me there too.
Excellent. Don, I'm going to take just a moment and make sure that everyone who wants to come to the conference knows all the details and what exactly is going on, so stay with me for a moment. For those of you that are interested in coming to the conference, let me give you some scoop here, some update about what is happening this year. First of all, the Canadian Massage Conference is Canada's largest exhibition of massage products, continuing education, and new business opportunities for therapists of all disciplines. This year's conference will feature over 50 exhibitors, continuing education classes of 1-hour, 3-hour, and 1-day workshops, including Don's, Friday and Saturday night receptions, and a private dance party at Club 54's Retro Room, which is adjacent to the conference hotel. Now, the registration cost for the conference is just $40. That includes admission to the trade halls and all 1-hour presentations, as well as participation in raffles and giveaways of literally thousands of dollars in prizes. And I hear a rumor that Don might be giving away a couple of books in there, so you definitely want to be in line to potentially win those. The conference registration also includes between class coffee breaks and loaded goodie bags. Attendees will also have access to many special offers and promotions from the vendors and exhibitors of the trade show, as well as the chance to have a fantastic time with friends and colleagues. Now, for students, the conference offers a free student day and Smart from the Start program on Sunday, which is sponsored by Massage Warehouse and the Registered Massage Therapists Association of Ontario. This day is dedicated to massage therapy students who are currently enrolled in school or who graduated in 2011 and includes a free gift bag for the first 250 attendees. Also on Sunday, the RMT Career Fair, sponsored by Hand and Stone, will be held from 1 to 3 p.m. and is free to all registrants, including students. All of these activities are happening at the conference hotel. That's the Burlington Holiday Inn, and I definitely suggest you make plans to stay there if possible. Single or quad rates are just $121 a night, but space is limited, so please make your reservations now. Also, Massage Therapy Canada is printing the Canadian Massage Conference event program inside a copy of their magazine. This issue will be given out at the conference and distributed throughout Canada to over 5,000 registered massage therapists. So if you are a vendor or an educator who is listening in today and you'd like to get some great exposure for your products or classes, please contact Christine Livingstone at Massage Therapy Canada for details on being a part of the conference program. Now, if you're ready to register for the Canadian Massage Conference, November 4th through 6th in Burlington, Ontario, meet Don and the other amazing presenters at this year's event, there are 2 ways to do so. First, you can register online and pick your courses instantly at the official conference website at www.canadianmassageconference.com. You can also register by phone. The call is free, and operators are waiting to talk to you. That number is 877-387-9111. That's 877-387-9111. We also invite you to stay connected with us on Facebook at facebook.com/ Canadian Massage Conference. Again, the 2011 Canadian Massage Conference is made possible by all of our wonderful sponsors. Thank you so much to the Vitality Depot, Lackner McClellan Insurance, Massage Therapy Canada, Biotone, Massage Warehouse, the Registered Massage Therapists Association of Ontario, Hand and Stone, and to Schedulicity for scheduling, or rather for sponsoring the pre-conference broadcast series. I hope after today's broadcast, everyone listening is ready to come to the Canadian Massage Conference and register for Don's 3-hour class, Insurance Claims, Why Bother? Don, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today and for sharing all of your great information and knowledge with everyone. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Ontario, in Burlington, up in November, and looking forward to your class at the Canadian Massage Conference.
Well, thanks, Felicia. Of course, it's always a pleasure to visit with you and to be on Massage Therapy Radio again. And, the lineup sounds wonderful. I mean, I wish when I was an entry-level practitioner that all these resources were available for me, because I had to learn, as you did, the hard way, and to have so much in one place. I know it maybe sounds like I'm over-promoting it, but sincerely, I mean, if there are opportunities here for these new and struggling entry-level practitioners, it really is just the best place to go and jumpstart your practice and get yourself into position to be more competitive and do what you love out there. So I appreciate the opportunity today, and I'm looking forward to the exhaustion and the exhilaration of the conference.
Well, I'm with you on that. I can't wait to be a part of it myself, and we're looking forward to having you there. Everyone, this is Felicia Brown, and on behalf of everyone from the Canadian Massage Conference and Massage Therapy Radio, I want to thank you for tuning into this broadcast of the Canadian Massage Conference pre-conference broadcast series. Please remember to tune in each Monday through October 31st for more interviews and to visit massagetherapyradio.com for replays of all the interviews in this series. We look forward to seeing you in Ontario in November. Please also consider joining us for the American Massage Conference, April 20th through 22nd, 2012, in San Diego, California. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a fabulous day.